what we mean by AB. So we got a point, we got a couple of points, A and B, and we're gonna find AB. Does anybody have any idea what that means? You wanna take a guess? What do you think that means? Yep.
Is it like, where you do like, x1 minus x2 and y1 minus y2?
It is in that ballpark. What you just described is the slope. So if I were going to write the equation of this line, which I will be doing in a few days, I would absolutely start with that. That is the slope. Okay, now remember A and B are points. So if I plotted them, they don't really meet, okay? We will be finding where lines meet. That's also in a few days. So we're talking about things we're going to be doing. It just isn't this. This means the distance from A to B. Now, since I have used the word distance, do you have any idea how to find that distance? Anybody remember? I saw Mr. Hill. I saw a hand going up back there.
Subtract the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
You said the same thing that Malia did. Those are both slope. Yes, we're going to do that. Not here, but we're going to do that. Would this help you out? Got it? Distance formula, very good. So if we want to find the distance between 2 points, have you done this one? You got switched to here. Okay, Kristen, let's get that taken care of. Anybody else that's moved around here? All right, you want to get your stuff out, Kristen? Is that where you want to sit? Okay, that was my long slaughter seat last year. I had to move that because he was bad. So that's where he sat. He loved it. He loves it there, so you're good. What class were you in, Christian? Do you remember? Yeah, he was. Okay. All right, let me give you a little hint here. To find this, you are going to subtract your x's. So you can label these however you want. I'm going to call this one point 1. So this is x1, and this is x2, and this is y1, and this is y2. So it's always x's with x's and y's with y's. Okay? So I'm going to do -1 minus 7. You can do that in either order. Okay? So if you memorized this, and that is absolutely fine, no one's ever going to ask you to write the formula, so you don't necessarily have to memorize the formula. You just need to know how it works. So you're going to subtract your x's in either order. Doesn't matter. I wrote 2 minus 1 here, but I did 1 minus 2 here. It makes no difference because you're going to square it. And then do the same thing with your y's. So what do I end up with? -1 minus 7. Watch your arithmetic, and if you really can't do that, get your calculator out and do it right. -1 minus 7 is -8. But I have to square that. -8 squared. 64. 3 minus 1. 2 squared. 4. I got the square root of 68. What do you think? Does that look okay?
Yeah.
Not quite, because, believe it or not, the square root of 8 simplifies, and square root of 68 simplifies. Now remember, the only calculator you have for this class is your grapher. So we don't have little cheaty calculators, I call them, that break down the radicals. We don't have that anymore. We have to break them down ourselves, but that's easy. Tell me what 68 is. Break it down into something. It ends in 8, so won't it be 2 times something? So 2 times 34. Uh-oh, that one ends in 4, so it's 2 times something. 34 is 2 times 17. And that's it. 17 doesn't break down. So I have my 34 broke down, my 68 broke down, so all I have left is 2, 2, and 17. So remember how that works? If you have 2 of something, you bring it out. If you only have 1 of something, it stays in. 2 radical 17. And that's your answer. Okay, that was easy enough. All right, let's try B. B, our points are 2, 6, and negative 5, 1. All right, so let's do this one together. Then I'm going to have some volunteers come up to the board and practice the next one. Here we go. Here's my radical. What do? What does my formula tell me to do? Subtract my x's. So 2 minus negative 5. Watch your SIGNs, because 2 minus negative 5 is going to turn into a plus. I'll go ahead and do that. That's going to be 7 squared 49. Okay, now let's do our y's. 6 minus 1. Well, 6 minus 1 is 5, and squared is 25. I'm going to add those, and again, you can't do it in your head, that's fine. You got a calculator sitting right there, or you're supposed to have a calculator sitting right there. Type it in, and what do you get? Square root is 74. Now, we always break down our radicals if they break down. So over to the side here, I know, because that's an even number, I know 2 will go into 74. How many times? 37. Uh-oh, 37 is prime. If I only have 1, 2, and 137, does anything come out of the radical? No. So this is your answer. That one doesn't break down. Do not get simplifying happy. Don't get carried away. You have to have 2. I erased it. You have to have 2 of something. In order to simplify. If you don't have 2 of something, it isn't going to simplify. Even if it breaks down, it's not going to simplify this way. Okay? Well, there's one more. Do I have a brave person or people, you can do it together, who will come up and do this last one for us? Negative 8, 4, and negative 5, 2. Do I have a volunteer? Sure. Right. And she's finding the distance. These two only connect. Full-size boxes for you, mine. I know it's hot in here, I apologize for that. It's gonna be hot for a couple weeks till the cart comes in, so just kind of plan for that. If you're having math, make sure you can take a sweatshirt off or something, because it's hot in here. She's phoning a friend right now. Okay, you gonna help her?
Yeah, E squared is 2.
Oh, yeah, my bad, you're right.
Mr. Hill, you got this done? Mr. Hill, you play a sport?
Yeah, both.
Do you ever have to be on the bench?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not playing. I'm not supposed to be playing.
Okay. And how do you behave when you're on the bench? Are you talking and screwing around, or are you focused on the game?
Focus so I can get back.
Bingo. All right, the girls, after much consternation and a little erasing, ended up with grade 13. What do you think about that? I think you're right. You okay with that? First quiz you
Sorry, I
take
talked to myself.
will have a problem like that on it. So if you don't already know the distance formula, make sure you know it. Get it learned. All right, what's next? Find the midpoint. Find the midpoint. All right, so we're not doing distance. One more time. To do distance, we subtract our x's, square it, subtract our y's, square it, add it together and take the square root. Okay, this is different. This is midpoint. Anybody know how to find the midpoint? It's a point. Got it?
Y squared minus y1 x squared minus
You guys are like slope masters. You are the third person that's talked about slope. That's the slope formula. And that is, when we write the equation of a line, we're going to find the slope. This is midpoint.
Y2 minus Y1. That's not, you said that, you just said that?
I don't, what, you're going to finish what you said?
Y2 minus Y1 divided by 2 plus X2 minus X1 divided by 2.
Okay, you are close. You are close. Here is the deal. Midpoint is average. And that should not be a foreign concept for you. If we are in the middle, are we average? Okay, so then ask yourself, how do you find an average? What is the mathematical process you learned in third grade to find the average? How do you do it?
The median.
Yeah, right, well, it's called the mean, actually. How do we find mean or average? If you get a 10 and an 8 on 2 quizzes, what is your average going to be? 9. How did you figure that out? You add them and divide by 2. So if I want to find my average x, I'm going to add my x's and divide by 2. So -1 plus 6 is 5 divided by 2. I'm going to write 5 halves. If you like decimals, that's fine too. Doesn't matter, 2.5. And then what's my average y? 2 plus 4
6.
divided by 2. There it is. Now, those of you that like formulas, your midpoint formula is exactly what we just did. It's the average. Midpoint is average, the middle value. All right, so let's find the midpoint for problem B. What is our midpoint going to be? -7 plus 0 divided by 2,
Yeah.
which is going to be -7 halves. And then 2 plus 5 over 2, which is positive 7. How do we find a midpoint? We add and divide by 2. Always cool. All right. Number 4. Find the center and the radius. You may or may not recognize that this is the equation of a circle. And you know what a circle looks like. A circle has a center and a radius. And your job is to find it for this problem. And this one. I think this one's actually easier, even though it's a harder looking problem. Does anybody have any idea for either one of them? You need to find the center and the radius. And then I just want to take a wild guess. Mr. Huff?
Like the half point of for the radius, where the half point and so like the start of the circle.
Yeah, so the center would be the midpoint of the diameter, and that's going to be important in a minute. But right now, I have the equation. And believe it or not, the equation just gives you the center. The center for this one, this is the second one, is 2, -3. Oh, look at that. Where'd that come from? Right? So it's the opposite of what's down in parentheses. And the radius is the square root of 15. Where'd that come from? Right here, that's our square, so the radius is the square root of 15. If I give you any equation of a circle, you can look at it and say, okay, here's the center, here's the radius. So what about this one? This one looks a little bit different. Any ideas about where the center or the radius even one for this guy? That is a great guess, and I understand where it's coming from. It would be, if the equation had been this, that center would be at 2, -2. 0, 0. Very good. Why is the center at 0, 0? Because there's nothing added or subtracted to the x and y. That's a 16. Any guesses what the radius of that circle is?
4.
Square root of 16, which is 4. Perfect. So one more. This one, you don't have to write this down. Let's just make sure we got it. If our equation is x plus 3 squared, y minus 2 squared equals 19, tell me the center. What's the center? -3, positive 2. And what's my radius? Square root of 19. Now, I'm going to ask you to do that backwards. I'm going to tell you that the center is 1, 4, and the radius is 6. Can you build an equation that looks like this? That's the equation of a circle. This is the equation of a circle. Can you build an equation that looks like that? What is it?
X minus 1 parentheses squared
Yes.
plus it'd be x minus 4.
Y minus 4.
Or sorry,
Yeah,
y minus
that's
4
y,
squared.
yeah. Squared.
Yeah.
And what's that gonna equal? 36, very, very good. Very good. So if we have an equation, we know how to get the center and the radius. And now, if we have the center and the radius, we can write the equation. Would you try B? On your paper there, try B. Consult your neighbor if you need to, it's okay. Anybody think you got it? Christian?
X plus 3, squared plus y minus 2 equals 100.
That's 100, but I'm not sure some of you might not be able to see it. But what do we think about his equation? You need a square on both parentheses, yep. And you need to see that first mistake. We need a square on both of them, but that is absolutely correct. You good? All right, now those of you that are getting a little drowsy, hold on to your hats, because now we've got to do Z. Now you're going to do the same thing. You're going to write an equation of a circle, just like that one. But all you know this time, here's your circle, is that it has a diameter whose endpoints are negative 1, 5, and 3, 7. Okay, friends. Go ahead.
You gonna do slope?
I'm not going to do slope. I want you to stop. Max, I want you to stop for just a minute. When you, Christian, whoever wrote this equation right here, that's what I want to end up with. Okay? That is ultimately what I want to end up with. Okay? Where did these two numbers come from? They were the center, right, of the circle. And in terms of this problem, you are exactly right. Won't the center be the midpoint? That's a diameter. The center's right in the middle. So, we gotta find the midpoint. So how do we do that again? We already talked about it. How do we do that?
Find the average.
We find the average. So negative 1 plus 3 divided by 2 and 5 plus 7 divided by 2. So x plus x divided by 2, y plus y divided by 2. You good? All right, so what is that? Do the math. What is that? 1, 6. Now, what does that mean in terms of my equation? That's the center. So x minus 1, y minus 6. So far, so good? Now it has to equal something. How did Christian get 100 over here? Why was that 100? Because I squared the radius. Okay? So I need to find the radius. Would this right here be a radius? From here to here, is that a radius?
Yeah.
Yep. So is this one, right? Doesn't matter which one you use, but you need one of those to be the radius. So what do I need to do to find out how long that is? I'm going to do the distance formula. All right, so here we go. These 2 points, not the original 2, because the original 2 don't make a radius, so don't use those. Use your center and one of your originals. All right. How does that work again? Who remembers?
It slipped my mind.
Well, look back at your notes.
X1
How did we find the distance? What?
X1 minus X2.
Yep, we're gonna subtract our x's. So 1 minus 3 and square it. Plus 6 minus 7 squared. Remember how that works? X minus x squared plus y minus y squared. All right, let's do the math. 1 minus 3 is -2 squared is 4. 6 minus 7 is -1 squared is 1. So I got the square root of 5.
Yeah.
Be careful. What goes here then?
No, you gotta to the second.
We got
So
square,
you're 5.
right. So remember, Johnny, the
5.
radius was 10, so we put 100 here. So since the radius is root 5, what's the square root of 5 squared?
Just 5.
Just 5. When you square a radical, they cancel. You'll have just 5. We will practice that again. Not this moment right now, but I promise we will practice that again. Because that will probably be a test question at some point. So we'll practice. Okay, let's move on to absolute value. Alright, I want you to be thinking about these. Let's take a stab at them and see if we can get any or all of them correct.
I think I know the first one.
Do you? What is it?
Oh, 1.
Let's vote. Do you know what he's talking about or not? The absolute value acts like parentheses, so you do the inside first. Just like you do PEMDAS, do the inside first. So what's -3 plus 2? -1, and then you take the absolute value of it, so it is 1. Good? All right, how about the second one?
0. -1.
I heard a 0, and I heard a -1. Anybody think it's anything else? Right, if you had to vote, which one would you vote for? Who would vote for 0? 1, 2. Who would vote for -1? And the rest of you what? Are voting? Okay, you gotta vote. You gotta have an idea one way or the other. All right, so here we go. Let's figure it out. 4 minus 7,
-3.
-3, but it's inside absolute value, so it's 3. Minus 3 plus 1, 4. Absolute value of 4 is 4. So those of you that said -1, you are the winners. You are the winners. One step at a time. You can do this. All right, how about this guy?
0.
I heard 0 again. Any other ideas? Nope, everybody thinks it's 0? What is the absolute value of -5? 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. I hope nobody tried to cancel these. You can't, you have to take care of this first, and that becomes positive 5, so you're right, 0 is the answer. Last one, 14. Anybody have a different thought? 14 you think is it? 10 minus 3 is 7. 3 minus 10 is negative 7, but the absolute value makes it 7. I'm adding them, I think you're right, 14. Nicely done. Oh my, guess what that was? That was the end of P2. So P2 will be due on Wednesday. Now, our next class, and I don't have this all figured out yet when that's going to be, either tomorrow or the next day. Whenever we have class again, we are going to do a practice quiz. Okay, we'll do it together, we'll go through it, and then the class after that will have the real quiz over P1 and P2. And I'll talk about this before, again, but I don't want to stress anyone out. The quiz we take will look exactly like the practice quiz. So if there are 5 problems on the practice quiz, the same 5 will be on the real quiz. Now, they'll have different numbers, and they might be in a different order, but if you can do the practice quiz, you can do the quiz. Okay, so there's no need to be nervous. Do your homework, study the practice quiz, and you'll be all set. So we're going to start P3 right now, but the next class is practice. The class after that is the real deal. Okay, just a small quiz, P1. Is your name up? Uh-huh. Say it loud. There's problem B? No, because there's a minus in there. You add 3 and 1 and 4. So then it becomes minus 4. You only have one subtraction. So this right here, our negative absolute values. This right here is 4. The absolute value is 4. You're going to subtract this. I don't know, you're getting an extra negative. But you agree this right here is 4. That is 4. So I'm taking 3 minus 7. So it's all right, here we go. P3. Why do I have all this extraneous chatter? All right, here we go. Is negative 2 a solution of this equation? Well, the answer is yes or no. What's one way I could figure that out? What could I do to figure that out?
Plug it in X.
I could plug it in. Now, when you plug it in, be careful. So negative 2 squared, you gotta put it in like that. You're squaring negative 2. So you need those parentheses. Minus 4 times negative 2 minus 4. And I'm really trying to figure out, does that actually equal 0? Okay, so what's negative 2 squared? 4. What is negative 4 times negative 2? Does it work?
Yes.
So is it a solution?
Yes.
Yeah. If I didn't come out with 0, it would be a no. But I did, so it's a yes. Brian?
You put like, if the answer's right, you put like, is a solution, or what would you put for that?
I would say yes or no.
Yes or no?
Yeah, I would just say yes in this case. The question is it a solution? Yeah. You may have a different idea about this problem. This won't work 100%. What did you think?
I got number 2. Can't you do like multiple of 12 that also adds to
So
negative 4?
you actually solved this equation by factoring it.
Yeah.
And you said the factors were what?
Negative 6 and 2.
X minus 6, X plus 2.
And then
And then you solve that, set
Yeah,
it equals
solve it.
0 and solve.
yeah.
So x equals 6, x equals negative 2. Beautiful. That'll work also. By the way, if what he did looks like, oh my gosh, what's he doing? Oh, you're in trouble. We gotta know how to factor. Right? So go back and practice factoring. Get on that. What's that guy called? Oh, what's that math video? What are those math videos? Oh well. Practice factoring if you need to. All right, number 2. Which are linear equations? I'm going to give you a hint. The only ones in that list that are linear equations are A and E. A and E are linear. Can you tell me why some of them aren't?
Oh, I know what, I think I know why they are, because when you divide it, you get like a whole number out of it.
So basically, because they have a plain X, you can solve for X, plain X, not like this where you've got X squared. That's not linear. You gotta have a plain X. So, why do you think B isn't linear?
X is squared.
It's under a radical. Okay, so if you're gonna be linear, X cannot be under a radical. Now, please note, Mrs. Ford did not say that you couldn't have a radical. You can have radicals, you just can't have an X underneath. So you can have something like root 7x plus 2 equals 5. That's linear. The rule is X cannot be under the radical. Okay, C. Why do you think C is not linear?
Because X is in the denominator.
X cannot be in the denominator. Why do you think D? Well, don't we have an X in the denominator again? So that's a no. D is a no, not linear, because you have a variable in the denominator. And what do you think is wrong with F? You have an X squared. And the only power is X to the first. You cannot have an X to the second, X to the third, any of that stuff. Okay? So if I give you an equation and say, is it linear? You're gonna look for these. These are the rule breakers right here. If X is under a radical, no. If X is in the denominator, no. If X has any power other than 1, no. You good?
Yeah.
All right, solve. I think you guys can solve these, at least some of them. So let's have a volunteer maybe come up, and remember, you can always bring a friend if you'd rather work together. But let's get these first two done on the board.
Are you asking if it's linear or not?
No, I'm asking you to solve it.
Ah.
These are both linear. These are linear. Oh, okay. All right, Mr. Hill, come on up. Bring a friend if you want. And Max, bring a friend if you want. And while the guys are up here doing this, what are the rest of you doing? Solving them at your... Right. Just hang on. Be patient. Phone a friend if you have that. Is it an absolute emergency? Huh? Without a key. Well, when we go up, we are having control of that. So if you go this time, we don't have to do it. All right, it looks like we got 6 and 2. Did you guys, I didn't do them. Did you guys have your seats? Does that look good to you? All set? Good? All right, you're thinking, well, this isn't bad, and it isn't, but it does get a little bit more complicated. Thank you, Maddie, for doing this. You did a great job. Before I erase that one, any questions about the first two? All right, let's look at the third one. Sometimes when you see fractions, you start freaking out. Don't freak out. What would you like to do? And there are lots of options. You can't be wrong, probably. Lots of options. What do you think?
Can we multiply? Can we multiply?
We multiply by what?
Like, is it like, yeah, is it reciprocal? Or is it like, or can you do like, I don't know.
I'm gonna multiply.
Yeah, I just don't know what.
What to multiply by?
No.
I think I got it. I think I got it.
Chase, what am I gonna multiply by? Any idea?
I don't really know.
I don't know.
I got it.
Sit up in your seat, let's look like we are focused. Okay, Brian.
Multiply by the reciprocal
Of
on the
what?
other side. So it'd be 3 over 2 times 4 over 5.
Multiply by the reciprocal of that value, exactly right, Brian. Because, guys, what happens when I multiply 3/2 times 2/3? What happens? They cancel? And I'm left with just x equals, and isn't that what my objective is? Isn't that what I'm trying to do? Perfect. Now, how do I multiply fractions over here? What do I do? You can either go straight across, so that would be 12 over 10, 4 times 3, 5 times 2. That's how we multiply. Or, oh, by the way, that reduces. What does that reduce to?
6 over 5.
Oh, shoot.
Or you could look at your original one and cross cancel. Have you ever done that before? If it confuses you, don't do it. But if you know how to do it, you can do that and you end up with 6 over 5. Very nicely done. How many of you had Mrs. Field? A lot of you. And she would say over and over and over and over again, multiply by the reciprocal, multiply by the reciprocal. That's how we self-assemble. Good work. Okay, how about problem B? Do not be multiplying by the reciprocal yet.
I know. I already know.
Ryan is on fire today again. Is there anybody else who has an idea? Oh, so the suggestion is that we subtract the 1/4 from both sides. That makes sense to me to do that. So now I have, those will be gone. So I'll have 1/3 x equal to, now I have to subtract 1 minus a 4th. Now I think most of you hopefully can do that in your head. If you have 1 and you take away a 4th, what you're left with? 3/4. If you do it decimally, it would be 0.75. 3/4. Now, for those of you that are like, how in the heck is she doing? Remember, I need a common denominator. So 4/4 minus 1/4 would be 3/4. Now, can I multiply by my reciprocal? So times 3/1. And it looks like my answer is going to be 9/4. Now, I'm going to show you one more thing. You might remember this from last year. What we just did is awesome. That will work every single time, it's great. But sometimes, I'd rather just not deal with the fractions. So I'd rather make all my denominators match. I have a 3, a 4, and a 1. What is the common denominator for 3 and 4 and 1? 12. So I'm going to multiply this one by 4, this one by 3, and this one by 12. Do all the denominators now match? Are all the denominators 12? And as soon as they all match, you get rid of them. So 4x plus 3 equals 12. Now I have a simple little equation to solve. And look at the answer I get, guys. It's the same. So if you don't want to do fractions, get rid of them. How do you get rid of them? Make all the denominators the same. And then, all right, a lot going on here. P2 is due on Wednesday. Hang on just a second.